Hi everyone, welcome to Morning Coffee with Craig. And it's been quite a while since I've done one of these segments, in fact more than 2 years. And a lot's happened over the last 2 years, primarily in that I've moved to London. I've lived here for about 2.5 years now. And I don't know. Your perspective on the world changes quite a lot in London. It's a very interesting city, and some very interesting things have gone down in London in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And so today I'm going to talk about the G20 and why people protested at the G20. I think mainstream Britain often doesn't. There's a lot of things that mainstream Britain doesn't understand, and I think I got the feeling that no one really understood the nature of the G20 demonstrations. Now, I would feel quite disappointed if an organisation as large and powerful as the G20 came to a city such as London, and there weren't a lot of alternative voices that were heard and protested, and people protesting against the G20. Now, the G20 is primarily a group of finance ministers, but this one was special, as you probably know, because it consisted of also the leaders of those countries that had come together to try to save the collapse of the global economy. Now, there's a whole bunch of reasons on why the global economy collapsed, and I think your poor everyday banker gets quite a lot of blame for that, when it wasn't just bankers. It was actually an entire policy framework that stems back to the 1970s, and part of that policy framework, and mostly driven by the Anglo economies, if you can call them Anglo, but the sort of the countries such as the United Kingdom, Australia, not so much as a player, but still went down this neoliberal path. So say, United Kingdom, United States under Ronald Reagan, United Kingdom under Thatcher, Australia under a Labor Prime Minister called Paul Keating. They put large parts of the economy into the into the private sphere, into the market, because it was the ideology that if it's in the market sphere, it will work more effectively, and in a lot of cases it does. But the problem is, a society, all societies, have certain components, essential components, that if you put into the market and the market fails, the society will fail. And one of those essential components, apart from things like transport and water and perhaps roads, is the banking system. The banking system is central to all economies, regardless of your political persuasion. So if the banking sector fails, the entire society fails. So I think it's a very, very big moment in British history, especially because Britain, perhaps more than any other country, has risked so much of its economy to this ideology of neoliberalism or neoliberal globalism, whatever you want to call it. Now, well, where we go from here is the people of Britain have, through their government, have invested hundreds of billions of pounds to try to rescue the banking sector, and also other sectors that are failing quite badly, which is the motor industry, manufacture of cars. So now that the banking sector is controlled by the government, there's lots and lots of new ideas that the government could come up with to manage the banking system in not only in a more equitable way, but in a less risk way. the other thing is the motor industry, of course. But I think the motor industry is quite strange because people aren't buying cars. People blame the economy, this strange, unhuman thing called the economy. The economy is made up of real people, and if people were not buying cars, perhaps that's a vote on not liking the certain cars that are available, and all the public money that's going into that industry now perhaps should be used to retool that industry, because that industry is environmentally it's disastrous. So anyhow, why do people protest? Well, they protest in lots of ways, and perhaps not buying cars is another way of protesting that's not understood or measured in the same way as the more street-based protest, which nowadays are about spectacle. In the 21st century, protest is not only about the protest on the street, but it's also about the protest in the media sphere or the public sphere, because that's where politics exists very, very much in this country. Politics has just become a game of images and a way of manipulating those images. Anyhow, I think the idea of globalisation or globalism that was driven by the banks and driven by other industries it's just an ideology. Globalism, like nationalism, is just another. It's the way to imagine the world. The same as nationalism, as most Europeans know, can be imagined in lots of different ways to suit lots of different causes, be they extremist racist causes or be they equitable causes. Nationalism can be good or bad, but so can globalism. And globalism, until now, at least this modern form of globalism, since say the 1970s, has only been imagined in a very sort of narrow sense. It's been imagined as the free flow of capital through free trade agreements, and driven by the ideology of neoliberalism, market liberalisation, and also it's been driven by a sort of technological exuberance through the internet and stuff like that. But it hasn't been really driven by any sense of social justice. So let's hope that other voices can get a much stronger say on this global stage. And the thing is, people protest in all sorts of ways, and this is a broad-based crisis that we have in the UK. Some people will choose to protest on the street, which opens up a whole new political sphere. It broadens the political discourse quite a lot, protest, as it has in London over the last 2 or 3 weeks. But there's other ways to protest as well. There's more bourgeois, if I could say that, ways to protest, which may be just about dinner parties and discussing things in your local neighbourhood, how you can help your school or something like that to become more green. Anyway, I'll try to continue these discussions, and I hope to hear your comments soon. Bye for now.